Hey, Mark, nice to meet you.
Hey, Will, good to meet you too.
Congrats on Hippo. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy you thought so.
Yeah, of course. And I know you've worked with Kimball before, and this is a wonderful feature you guys have now done together. And I was curious, as director, I know you wrote it together, but you're the director, and I was curious, love to hear more, behind the scenes, what your process was like working with Kimball and the rest of the cast, because everyone gives such wonderful performances for these very atypical, purposefully uncomfortable like characters. So
Yeah,
I'm curious as director what that's like for you to achieve that very unique
yeah.
tone for this movie because it's great.
Thank you. No, it's a great question because I've been thinking a lot because a lot of people have asked me, "Oh, what were the auditions like with these actors? Do you have the tapes? I'd love to see them." And then I realized nobody auditioned for the movie.
Yeah.
I People I knew.
Yeah.
And I think that there's some like magic when you write with people in mind, and Kimball writing with me, with himself in mind.
Right.
Um, if the more concrete of a face you could put to the lines, the more when you actually shoot it, you're gonna, I think, have a better result and be able to achieve this weird, crazy family dynamic. So yeah, so I had known Kimball since Andronicus, which we shot together, also with the Robertses, Eliza and Eric. But I didn't know him. I didn't write Andronicus with him because I didn't know enough actors yet. So that one I did break my rule. I wrote that just myself and cast everybody. But then after Andronicus, me and Kimball just stayed friends and then was just like, wait a second, you want to like make another movie together? Like it's kind of like an awkward sort of like asking someone
Yeah.
out almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just like a creative asking out. And it's like, yeah. And also he was actually such a good actor on Andronicus. I don't know if you've seen that. That's our crazy
Yes, I
short.
did.
Thank you. He
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
like a more insane person. He was
Yeah.
so, I thought he was insane in real life. Like I met him for Andronicus and I was like, I don't know if I could work with him again because he's crazy. Like he might kill me. And then I got to know him. It's like, oh my God, no, he was just acting
Right.
really well
Right.
and a little method on set. And so then we got to talking. He's actually the sweetest kid ever. Um, and yeah, so we wrote with him in mind, and Lila as well, Buttercup, wrote it with her in mind, because I think yeah, that character was so specific. The fact that she didn't understand English very well, and like so those things were all things that those were gifts that the actors gave me, was their commitment to this script, so that I could then make the script as good as it could be. And then yeah, so that's the long answer to the question. The short answer is it is all about the writing. If I What I can achieve in the writing stage, ideally with the face to the name, to me it makes the directing pretty easy, if I can do my job as a writer.
Of course, yes. And I spoke with Kimball a few days ago and he's wonderful and learned a lot more about, the creative processes of Hippo and I found myself asking a lot of questions that I could also be asking you. Yeah.
No worries, ask away.
Yeah.
Or
But like I love the, black and white look to the movie. I think it
yeah,
really adds to it.
thank
And
you.
then for you as director, I mean, and I found in Andronicus as well, there were some unique camera angles, like the extra headroom and, just like these cool
Thank you.
choices that I thought it really added. So just, with Hippo, did you find yourself taking chances as director with certain things or found yourself applying a certain technique that you learned from, a past movie you had recently seen, doing
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, great question. I think that, again, for me, I started as a writer, so my brain was always, excuse me, on character first. So the visual language of film was something I had to learn and discover first as a producer and then by watching films.
Right.
And yeah, I was not always the kid picking up the camera with his friends. I was usually the one writing the story or acting in the story, and another friend was the one picking up the camera. So in that regard, I came to that game a little late, but my cinematographer on Andronicus, Will, he's so talented, and he was able to come up with so many. Um, references and ideas to get me thinking more. I'd have a broad idea of what I want. Oh, what about this? What about this movie? I'm like, oh my God, yes, that is exactly what can we do that?
Yeah.
Uh, and he's like, well, not on our budget, but we can get close. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that he very much turned me on to this big headroom uh, portrait photography look. Um, him, but also movies like Cold War, Ida, that got Pavel Pawlowski, um, watching old Ingmar Bergman films.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of inspirations, but I definitely credit my cinematographer for keeping those wheels turning on me and challenging us what we can do together. Um, and yeah, Andronicus was very much the off-kilter, even more bizarre framing version of Hippo. And Hippo, we decided let's do something a little more pleasing and centered, and because we're also already doing black and white for
Yeah.
budgetary, but also world building reasons. So we didn't want to do too weird with the black and white with the weird framing. So it's always about finding that middle ground world
Right.
because you want to welcome your audience in as much as you want to repel them
Yeah.
by their unpleasantness.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Balancing act. I was also reading it. It looks like you have a project either you're currently working on or maybe finishing up called Cornucopia. I was reading a little bit about it. I don't know if you're able to share about that. Seems like a cool idea. Is that something you're still in the midst of creating?
I appreciate that. That one is going to be hopefully made next year. I have a lot of people who want to make it with me. We're looking to do it right with, the right budget and
Right.
location. Um, what can I share? I can't share much about it because it's really early, but I can share my next one will be a different movie called Godhead, which has not been announced yet. Um,
Oh,
and that one is going to have Kimball as well. It'll be a black and white film with Kimball, Sarah Coffey, who happens to be Kimball's girlfriend, again, someone I know and wrote for, and it's going to have Al Warren, um, who's I don't know if you know his movie Dogleg. He's a filmmaker and actor. He appears in a lot of Christopher Borgli movies as like side characters, and also his short films. Um, so that one is going to be like a similarly budgeted, crazy, uncomfortable church priest-centered wild thriller type comedy weird thing. I don't know genre.
cool. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. And so you think maybe that one will you'll get the ball rolling on first.
I think that one will be next. And then yeah, Cornucopia will hopefully be bigger with a bigger cast member who I do have a cast member attached, but again, I don't know if I can like say it. I mean, I can just tell you it's Ben Mendelsohn, but it's not like we've announced, we can't like announce the movie yet.
Right, right, right.
But I do have him and I'm like dying to work with him
Yeah.
I've worked a few times. So that's my dream one where it's like if Hippo does well enough and this next one and or, then someone can come in and help me make that.
Right, right. Well, yes, yeah, he's great. I hope it works out.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm
appreciate that.
sure I have a good feeling about Hippo. It's, I think like when I was talking with Kimball, there's a lot of other like filmmakers and, their styles sort of come to mind when watching Hippo, which is, of course, a good thing. Uh,
I appreciate that. Yorgos, big inspiration as well, for sure.
yeah.
Though not trying to rip him off, but
No.
he inspired me that character. The key differentiator there is he inspired me that characters can speak however they want. When I saw Killing of a Sacred Deer, I was like, wow, so you can make a movie with characters who talk like this. But the way I do it different is I like the character to actually have a mental illness. Whereas his characters just talk like that for no reason. Again, love him, but that
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, but I love his movies.
I know. Yeah. His movie. Yeah. I tried to
So
get
I'm
my,
trying,
I love that movie. I tried to get my wife to watch it. She's just like,
okay.
I don't get
Yeah. No, but
it.
I'm definitely like filmmakers like that. Like to me, it's like having the confidence to be weird. It really inspired me. And him and Ari Aster showed me like, oh, you can be a filmmaker and be like really weird in the modern age. And like, maybe get your movies made.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's kind of, and the light and Robert Eggers, Lighthouse, weirdest movie of all time.
Oh yeah.
Weirdest movie in a while,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, I sort of got vibe, the Lighthouse. I saw that in theaters. I sort of got those vibes watching Hippo. I mean, of course, the black and white, but also just like, you know, just like that perpetual kind of uncomfortability,
Yeah,
it's-
single location, two peas in a pod,
yeah,
or two characters fighting each other. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm very happy you enjoyed it.
yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you, Mark. I hope we can do this on the next one, and congratulations on Hippo.
Thank you. Definitely.